going on, everyone? What episode is this, sir?
5.
All right, and I'm Gabe, and you're
Deit.
all right. This is kind of we're still at the smokehouse. Off camera, we were kind of battling the wind. Winds, we almost seem like we're at the shore where the wind's blowing. But
it's mid-December. It's
yeah.
It's that time of year. The wind's kicking up. This is the smokehouse. This is where it goes down. A little windy today, but we're going to battle through, and we're going to bring this to you.
All right. Something else that I thought would be interesting to add to the program is just, I know we're talking about cigars. That's what we're here for, Simply Smokes. But also kind of just for us to talk a little bit about, explore a little bit about ourselves, or just what's going on, anything that was brought up. And the reason I say that is because I had a conversation, and I thought it would be something that I'm sure many of our viewers would probably relate to, especially our retired viewers. That's kind of what we are. But it's almost like we're retired, but we still working. And it came up in a conversation, and I kind of wanted your thoughts on it too. It was with a gentleman that we were saying about. He was talking about his elderly father, and how he's still moving around, he's still active, and things of that nature. And I thought about it, and I said, because people sometimes or often say when you retire, like, what are you doing working? You should be relaxed. You should be at a beach somewhere, things like that. And I guess for me personally, and it kind of hit me, was like, I guess it's about having purpose. And I don't want to get too deep into it or make it deep, but it's almost like there is a satisfaction or a personal satisfaction, to have a place that you have to wake up and go to, that there's an expectation for you to be there. Mm-hmm. And I know we did ours, we did our 25-year tour. But let's be honest, for that 25 years, there was a place we had to be, a purpose. We had to be there at a certain time.
Yep. And
it was kind of like that regiment. And I almost look at it to say, whether you retire and you take, another job with a lot of responsibilities, or one without responsibilities. To me, it's not even so much that part of it. It's the part that there's an expectation for you to be there, because that's almost the reason why you wake up. I got to wake up. People are expecting me. So I say that to say that in that self-reflection, I was like, something, to me, that kind of drives me in the morning. I got to wake up. There's things I got to do. People, people are waiting for me, even though it could be something as simple as just being a greeter or being somewhere. So it's not so much that, but the fact that, you still have a purpose, still got stuff to do. And I'll be honest, I think that's the part that kind of keeps me driving, because I'm not even sure how it is for you.
Well, in terms of retiring,
or the terms of just being somewhat active after retiring.
Yeah,
or being active. Period.
For me, I think when you retire, you have to plan. First of all, even before you retire, you have to plan your retirement, and it's. I know this may not sound right, but it's not as easy as it might seem. Like when you're working every day, you're thinking, man, it would be great just to not have anything to do all day, every day. Mm-hmm. And then when you get to that point and you got nothing to do all day, every day, you find yourself like maybe drifting into some things or indulging in some things you don't really want to indulge into, or you might indulge into too much, whatever that may be, mm-hmm. Like that. So you gotta plan your retirement. You gotta know what type of retirement you want to live. You gotta have a plan before you even retire. Mm-hmm. And then when you get to that point, then you live your life the way that you want to live it. So that's I think that's important.
I think that's cool. You're right. You gotta plan it. Yeah. Whether it be and you gotta take care of yourself, because so often, we have colleagues or even people that we would hear about. Man, he retired 5 years ago and his health went. And you're like, man, what do you talk about? And I think some of it has to do is you got to have that plan. You got to have, sitting around doing nothing. What's that saying? Basically, if you don't, if you sit around and don't have a plan or anything, then other things are going to come up that maybe you shouldn't be into or shouldn't be doing.
Is that a saying?
No, there's a saying for it, and I'll figure it out. I'm just having
if you
Cool for the
guys
brain fart.
know what saying he's talking about, just
What's
put,
that about
put it
idle
in
minds?
put it in the
What's it called?
comments.
No, it's something
Oh,
about
idle mind is the devil's workshop.
bam. That's what it is.
Yes.
So, and I kind of there is a lot of reality to that, and all of us, if not, if most of us, not all of us, we're guilty of that occurring. I think it occurs sometimes in retirement because we need to fill that void. For us, it's cigar smoking. We enjoy it, and that's why we're bringing it out because I think it's something, it's something cool, relaxing, brings people together and have good conversation. And it actually opens other things because, like I said, I'm a super novice. Dieter is, to be honest, he's a doctor compared to me. You know what I mean? I'm just, and I say that as a segue because my man's already doing stuff to the next level. He's like a mad scientist now. And I'll leave that as a segue for you to talk about what you're going to talk about.
Oh, okay. Well, today, guys, I want to talk to you about infusing. It's one of my favorite things to do in terms of my cigar experience.
So what's infusing or
Well, infusing is putting, adding a different element to your already flavorful, the cigar you're already enjoying, and it's just adding another element to it.
So it's something that you're adding to something that's already pre-packaged, pre-done, already to the actual cigar.
Yeah.
So it's aftermarket, so to speak.
Yeah. So we talked about flavored cigars in another episode. The chocolate, coffee, spices, things like that. Me personally, I infuse with two different things right now. I'm infusing with coffee, and I'll show you my process, and I infuse with rum. I'll begin with the coffee. I have a sample here. This is
Before you start, I'm trying to open this bad boy. Does it need a If not, I'll just take a glass of something. I just do a little something. Is it a twist off?
Are you still filming?
Yeah, we're still filming.
Oh.
We live. We don't mess around.
All right.
All right.
So, yeah, I don't have a can opener.
All right,
I don't have my keys.
You might have a little bit, or you rather have me have the Hennessy? Listen. When it comes to liquor, people do get picky, but that's a whole other. That's a series. That's not even an episode. But
Okay.
go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I believe it or not, I have two cigars in here, inside this mason jar full of coffee beans, and over time, the flavor of the coffee beans, and let me just backtrack. I also have a Bovita pack in there to keep everything moist and fresh. So over time, the flavor of the beans will infuse into the tobacco of the cigar.
Whoa. I just want to get this. So there's actually a cigar in there.
There's two cigars in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So what I would recommend, first of all, what I would recommend if you're going to try this, to go with a mild cigar, a Connecticut wrapped cigar, because the flavor is already mild, and you don't want to add anything overpowering to a more robust cigar. If that makes any sense.
No, it makes a lot.
So,
Yeah, to me, it does. I get it. You don't want it to overpower. You want to counteract.
Right. So I would take a mild cigar of your choice. My example would be a Perdomo 10th anniversary champagne, if you will. If anybody's familiar with that cigar, that infusing that with coffee would be great because it's a mild cigar, and the coffee would just enhance that flavor. So anyway, I filled this with coffee. The cigar is totally engulfed in coffee beans, and with the Bovita pack to keep it fresh. So I would leave it in here no more than about 2 weeks, as opposed to the other infusions I want to show you. I wouldn't leave it in any more than about 2 weeks. By 2 weeks, you should have your cigar should be pretty much full of flavor. Take it out, light it up, and enjoy the flavor of the actual cigar, and then you're going to get an added bonus of that coffee flavor. And then if you smoke it with a cup of coffee or smoke it with anything, rum or whatever you want to, it's just going to enhance it that much more. So that's coffee.
you know, and just to like, I almost like when I see that, I almost can't wait when it's ready and almost have it with a cup of coffee in
Well,
the morning.
that's
It's like,
part of the process. I, when I first start the process, I want to smoke it that day. But I guess it teaches me patience because I want I want to smoke it, but you know, obviously I have to wait. So every day I check on it, and that's the other thing. You don't want to keep opening it up every day because every time you open it up, you letting the vapors out. You letting the aroma out. So you want to leave it tightly closed as much as you can. But if you want to open it just to make sure your cigars aren't getting moldy or whatever, then feel free to do that. But I would open it as little as possible. Now, moving on, the next one I want to show you here is I used a bigger mason
oh
jar.
wow.
Well, you know what? Let me put this one down for now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you this one. This one I just did yesterday. This is
That's a different process.
yes. This is in this shot glass. I don't know if you can see it or not. In this shot glass, it's Captain Morgan Private Stock, and the shot glass is pretty much full. But over the process, the vapors or the alcohol will infuse into this cigar.
So
This
like
is
it'll evaporate and actually get absorbed by the cigar. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Wow.
So that'll happen over a period of weeks. This is I believe this is a Monte Cristo. I forget what series it is, but this is a Monte Cristo cigar, and the vapors of the rum will infuse into the cigar. Now with rum, two things. You don't need a Bovita pack when you do this because the rum will provide the moisture already. So your cigar, your last thing you got to worry about is your cigar drying out in here because the alcohol and the rum itself will provide all the moisture that the cigar needs to stay fresh. So your cigar will stay fresh.
And as you're saying that, I can almost see, and I don't know if you guys can see. You almost see like the condensation, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, that's
inside already.
the vapors of the rum permeating the whole thing. That's why I really don't want to open it right now.
No.
But believe me, the alcohol is getting into your cigar, and unlike coffee, which I said, like I said, you should only leave that in there about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You can leave this in here as long as you want. You can leave this in here for 6 months. You can leave it in here for 1 month. I generally go about a month, maybe a month and a half. As a matter of fact, in a minute, I'll show you one that's been infusing for about 2 months.
Question for you. I see. Is that something? Do you recommend one cigar at a time, or could someone?
No, I just did this kind of as an example. As I said, this is a relatively large jar. You could probably fit 6 to 8 cigars in here, depending on what size they are. But you can get as many as you want in there. And one shot glass should be sufficient. Like, in other words, you don't need more than one shot glass if you had like 7 or 8 cigars. It doesn't really matter. You know, when you infuse, the vapors will get in there. And more cigars, you don't have to add more rum because you add more cigars. One shot glass should be sufficient. So like I was saying, the longer you leave it in there, the more flavor that cigar is going to have. The more rum flavor that's going to get all the way through the cigar. Because sometimes, like if I leave it in there for let's say like maybe 3 weeks to a month, I might get rum flavor like all the way up to like maybe the second, third, and then it'll just start tasting like the regular cigar. But if I leave it in there for like maybe 2 months, I'll have flavor all the way through.
And I'm just going to ask you a question. Now, I'm not even sure you know the answer, but I'm just curious. Is that because? Do you think that's because obviously the end isn't wrapped, but yet this part is wrapped? Is that why it seems like you may have?
That's a good point. That's a good point. I forgot to share that. You want to when you put the cigar in now. If you look at it, the cigar is over the rum. That's only because as the vapors rise, it'll make its way into the the top of the cigar. So you want that to be the case. It's just a way to get more flavor into the cigar. So yeah, you want the open end of the cigar to be over the rum, so that the vapors seep through.
All right. As you say it to me, now it makes sense. Because at first, I guess my initial thought was, well, the liquor's going to be absorbed by the cigar totally. But I'm thinking, no, it's wrapped. So the exposed part is the end. So that absorption is going to primarily come from that end.
Right. And like I said before, I wanted to show you guys an example. I have a cigar in here. This is a nub that's been infusing for about 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Maybe.
and as you open it, I hope you guys can see, but there's a lot of condensation around there.
There's going to be a lot of condensation after 2 months.
Now, what type of rum is that?
Well, this is actually infused in white Hennessy Pure White.
All right.
So this has been infusing for about 2 months, and I'll show you real quick.
Now, my question is, you think about lighting that up on a show, or you want to save it for the next show, or because I'm curious to get your
Well, we're going to light it up together, but maybe not this show, but we're going to light this up on another episode. But I just want you to see how. First of all, it's very moist.
Can I get it? Just to try to. Oh yeah.
Very moist.
Wow.
You smell it. The Hennessy flavor is permeating all through the cigar. And what you may find is that when you go to light it, it may take a little bit more to light it, only because there's so much alcohol in it. So
you can definitely tell it's different.
So, it smells awesome. I wish we had smell-o-vision. I wish you guys could smell this. It smells awesome.
You inhale it.
And like I said, I can't wait to smoke it. So this is after 2 months. So this cigar here now will look like this after 2 months. I don't know if I'll leave it in there for that long, but
question for you,
this is what it'll look like.
Is so would you smoke it right out of the mason jar, or would you allow it to settle? I mean, what or is that preference, or what's that?
That's a personal preference. Me, I smoke them right out of the jar. I don't think there's any real reason to let it settle. But yeah, me, I just smoke it right out of the jar.
And I guess the only reason I was saying that because I didn't know if it's out, would it make it so it kind of dries a little more, where it would burn.
And I just wanted to show that I don't know if you can see this.
You probably threw it in an angle,
Yeah.
So was that filled all the way up?
This was full 2 months ago, and so that's how much.
Oh wow. A quarter is definitely evaporated.
Well, actually, a little more than half of the shot glass is now evaporated. So that's how much. Not I had 3 or 4 cigars in here, but that's how much. That's how much of the alcohol was infused into the cigar. So it's a pretty cool process.
But just like you said, you got to be patient. It's nothing overnight.
It just requires patience and care.
And for us retired folks, patience, we got some time for that.
Right. So
obviously, D has time for that.
Right. So so it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
I like, something. I'm almost amazed with the one with the coffee. Now I'm curious, and I don't know if we spoke off camera about it, because I like the way it's done with the beans. Would you try it with actually the coffee?
No, because if you had ground coffee, the coffee would get into the tobacco.
Well, not the ground coffee. I'm talking about, like, would you do a shot, so to speak, of, let's say, espresso, and have it there?
I've tried it that way also, and you can do it that way. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
But
how are your results?
The true coffee flavor, it's in would be with the beans.
All right. Is this the first time that you've done with the beans?
And then what happens is if you do it with liquid coffee, that coffee will go bad after a couple weeks.
Oh, all right, got it. Understood.
Yeah, this way the beans generally won't go bad, and this way you can leave them in there a little longer. But like I said, even with that being said, I wouldn't leave it in there for more than 2 weeks.
So have you? I mentioned before. Have you done it with the bean with the coffee beans before, or is this your first time?
No, I've done it before.
Oh wow.
I've done it both ways before.
All right, so just kind of recap because I know that there's a difference in it. So for the ones with, you recommend I guess a lighter cigar, obviously, a non-flavored cigar because you don't want it to counteract with what you.
Well, not non-flavored, but just a milder.
A milder cigar, and with the shot glass, you recommend patience, which is probably between a month, 2 months, or 2 weeks to read.
Well, I mean, I recommend patience through the whole process, but
I would say with this one, is this a shorter time or a longer time?
Shorter.
Shorter.
It only takes a couple of weeks. I wouldn't leave any when you're doing the coffee. I wouldn't go any more than 2 weeks.
Got it. Yeah, I'm kind of excited about this one here.
Well, we'll come back in a month or so, and then we'll smoke this one. We'll smoke all three, and this one by that time it'll be about 3 months. This will be about 1 month, and this will be about a couple weeks. And we'll come back and smoke all three, and then we'll make an assessment.
And I just want to emphasize that, it almost seems like it's a science project per se, but I definitely felt the moisture going into that one that you said has been in there for a while. I mean, you could definitely, you squeeze it and that that this process works. It's almost like, how does this get from this place to this place? But in the mason jar, it does happen. So I'm excited. And and like I said, it just kind of we're building off that experience. We're building off cigars.
We're taking it to another level.
Yeah, definitely. Because like I said, it's and I know I spoke about it in an earlier one where it's like the novice or the real novice is we're just going to the store. Hey, could I get a cigar? And smoking it, and we kind of think that we've already arrived just because we're smoking a cigar. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it because we were all there. And we were all at that level, and it's just about raising the bar just a little bit more. So definitely, I mean that's some cool stuff. So I can't wait to see what the end result is.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah. So I look at it like I don't know if you guys ever watched Seinfeld. There's an episode of Seinfeld where George has a girlfriend, and
you already laughing, so you already smiling.
Yeah, so he has a girlfriend who they want to enhance their lovemaking experience. So he incorporates food somehow into the experience at first. So he gets I think he gets a sandwich or something like that, and then he's eating the sandwich while he's with his girlfriend. And first she goes for it, and she's like, okay, cool, it's a little weird, but okay, if it helps you, then let's go for it. So she's okay with it. Then he's like, oh, I got to take it up a notch. So then he incorporates TV, watching television in the course of eating and making love to his girlfriend. So then she just totally flips out and says, okay, now you've gone too far. So I don't think we've gone too far yet. But we're just adding on to the experience.
No, definitely. I mean, I've heard of people talk about it but as far as break it down the way you did, I think you broke it down in the simplest form where it's something that you make. I'm curious to try it, and I don't feel intimidated to try it. And I think that's another thing that we kind of want to try to hit that target and say, listen. We're trying to make it simple, practical, keep it real, and this is something that I wouldn't be intimidated on doing. I'm actually very curious. Like I said, I mean, for me, I just the fact that you're telling me you got 2 cigars in here, you got the what did you say you got that pack in there to keep it moist.
The Vita pack.
So I'm very excited to when you open that and us have a smoke on.
Yep.
So definitely good stuff.
Absolutely. So we'll come back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then we'll check them out.
All right. So let's keep smoking. It seems like I started to drinking already. And we'll leave it at that. And by the next episode, Brother Deit will have a bottle opener. So we can open these bad boys up. All right. So to the next one, And until then, share, like, comment. Let's keep it moving. So and subscribe. All right. So with that one, we say later, peace out, all that good stuff.
Peace, everybody.
Later.